Uh, can you see the screen? Can anyone unmute and tell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So in the last class, we discussed with segregation, bleeding, and we discussed the manufacturing process of concrete. What are the different stages? So in that, first we discussed with the batching. So all the stages are very important in order to get a good quality concrete. So meticulous planning is required. Whether it is a good concrete or bad concrete, the material that we use is same, but whatever the methods that we adapt in the site, that gives a good quality concrete. So first you studied about the batching. There are two types, volume and weight batching. So volume batching is not a uh, good method of batching the concrete because it is measured in volume. Weight batching is a good method for measuring the quantities. So in the site, for most of the work, whether it is a small scale work or a large scale work, it's better to adopt weight batching rather than the volume batching. So next we'll go to the mixing. So the aim of the mixing is very important. The aim is to produce a good homogeneous and good workable concrete, so that in the other process of concrete, so that the concrete will be in a homogeneous condition. So this process of concrete plays a very important role because it affects the if the concrete is not workable here, or if the concrete is not homogeneous here, so then it will affect all the other process of concrete. So the best method, or the method that we have to be very careful, is in the mixing only, because here only we can able to produce a good homogeneous and good workable concrete. So there are two types of mixing. One is a hand mixing and the second one is a machine mixing. Most of you have seen both, as well as in the hand. Both the methods you have seen outside, whether it is a hand mixing or a machine mixing. So hand mixing is usually done for a small scale work or for any unimportant work, and it is done by means of trowels or shovels. So uh, this is a video
Hand
for
mixing of
hand mixing of
concrete.
concrete.
In a couple of videos we have seen about batching of concrete. Once the quantities are batched and the materials are taken for mixing of concrete. In this video, we are going to see about the hand mixing of concrete. Generally, hand mixing of concrete is used for small-scale or unimportant construction works. Hand mixing of hand. It should not be poured over the mixture, small-scale or unimportant construction works. Hand mixing of concrete should be done on the or unimportant construction works. Hand mixing of concrete should be done on the impervious surface of sufficiently large such that it should take at least 1 bag of cement.
So here hand mixing is done, should be done on an impervious surface where the water should not percolate inside uh, the floor. So it should be done on an impervious surface, either in a concrete floor, it would be better. And the floor should be in such a way that it should have the capacity to hold 1 bag of cement at least, or 1 bag of cement with other ingredients also. It should have the capacity so that it can able to mix all the materials in the same floor.
The batched quantities of materials are spread out as alternate layers of coarse aggregates and fine aggregates. Then, spread the required cement on the top of it.
So most of you have seen different methods of hand mixing in the site, or wherever in the nearby your home only you might have seen. But the good method of doing a mixing by hand is, first we have to alternately fill the coarse aggregate and fine aggregate, and then the cement has to be poured at the top of it. Okay, so the cement should not be poured at the bottom, and then if you place a fine and coarse aggregate, cement is amorphous form, whereas fine and coarse aggregate will be in a crystalline form. When you pour cement first and fine and coarse aggregate later, then the cement may start spill away, and the cement may the dust particles The cement, since it is in powder form, it may lost in the wind also due to the heavy weight of coarse and fine aggregate. So that's why first we have to fill the coarse and fine aggregate in the alternate layers, and then we have to fill the cement on top of it.
Now, mix the spread materials dry with the shovel by turning the mixture over and over again until uniform color is achieved. Then, the obtained uniform mixture is spread out in thickness of about 20 centimeters. Now, water is sprinkled over the mixture and simultaneously turned over. Note that the water should only
So here, once all the materials have been laid, it has to be mixed till you get a homogeneous color. Okay, it has to be mixed evenly by turning up and down till you get a homogeneous color, and then the water should not be poured; it should be sprinkled initially. Okay, so if you pour the concrete, there are more chances of getting water lost.
sprinkled.
So it
It
has to be
should not be
sprinkled.
poured over the mixture. This operation is continued till the good uniform, homogeneous concrete is obtained. The water can be added at the end to get the required consistency. As hand mixing will not be thorough and efficient, it is desirable to add more cement up to 10% to provide the required consistency.
So I'll just brief out the procedure whatever you saw in the video. So hand mixing should be done on uh, impervious concrete floor, where the concrete floor should be sufficiently large size to take up 1 bag of cement. 1 minute. There are so many messages are coming, so I will add them, then I will teach. In the hand mixing, first it has to be done on an impervious layer, as I already told. So the floor size should be sufficiently large to take at least 1 bag of cement and other materials also. So first we have to spread the quantity of fine and coarse aggregate in the alternate layers, and we have to pour the cement on top of it. I told what is the reason. And then we have to mix thoroughly until we get a uniform color is achieved. Then water is sprinkled over the mixture, and it is not to be poured, it has to be sprinkled over the mixture, and simultaneously we have to turn till we get a homogeneous concrete, till a good uniform homogeneous concrete is obtained. So here the very important thing is by adding a water. So if you pour the water will be completely lost. Okay, so that's why the water should be sprinkled so that we'll get a good homogeneous concrete. So water, it should not be added even if it is sprinkled. Full quantity of water should not be added. We should add the water in the small quantity, and at the last some water had to be kept, because even a small quantity of water will makes a difference. You will get a good consistency at the end. So we should not add all the water together at one stretch of time. We should sprinkle every now and then. We have to mix, and small quantity we should add at the end to get a required consistency. Since this method is not efficient, and it is not hand mixing is not a thorough mixing, and it is not efficient also, so that's why we should add all the materials including cement and all the other materials 10% extra. Why we should add 10% extra? Because since it is not thoroughly mixed, since it will not be thoroughly mixed in the by means of a hand, so we should add all the materials 10% extra other than whatever we get the quantity of the materials. So next we'll go for a machine mixing. Machine mixing, as you all know, it is used for almost every work, either in the RCC work or medium scale or even in the large scale. If the client is quite rich enough, you can use it even for the small scale work also. So machine mixing is a efficient. It is quite efficient, and it is more economical if the quantity of concrete required is large. So compared to hand mixing, machine mixing makes good. It will be economical, and also it will be efficiently mixed. So there are many types of machine mixers available in the market to mix the concrete. So in that, there are specifically classified into two types. One is a batch mixers and the second one is a continuous mixers. So as the word say, batch mixers, here the concrete here the concrete will be mixed batch by batch with certain interval of time, whereas in the continuous mixers, as the name indicates, here the concrete will be mixed continuously throughout without stoppage of any time till the plant is opened. Okay, so in continuous mixer, usually done in the RMC plant. So in continuous mixers, till the till the stop of the plant, so the mixers will be continuously mixing up the concrete. So in this, the materials are continuously fed by the screen feeders. So here, by means of a conveyor belt, the materials have been fed into a mixing chamber, where the concrete will be continuously mixed and discharged into the transit mixers. So batch mixers is used for almost for normal works, whereas continuous mixers is used for a large scale works, especially for the dam or bridges. It is usually used. So I hope you understood. Batch mixers. But it is going to mix the concrete batch by batch with certain interval of time, whereas continuous mixers are going to mix the concrete continuously without stopping of any concrete till the RMC plant is opened. Okay, so it is used for a large scale work like for the construction of dam or bridges, whereas batch mixers is normally used for a normal works for a multi-story building or for any other residential works. Okay, so this is a
Machine
small
mixing
video
of
of machine
concrete.
mixing.
In our previous video, we have seen about hand mixing of concrete, which is rarely adopted technique work. Adopted technique for reinforced concrete work and for medium or large-scale mass concrete work. Machine mixing is an efficient and economical method when large concrete production is to be done. There are many types of mixers are available in the market, which is broadly grouped in batch mixers and continuous mixers. The batch mixers produce in continuous mixers, the
So
material
this is called as a screen feeders, where the materials will be stored in the feeders. Okay, so whatever you see in the black color, that is called as a conveyor belt. So screen feeders, in the screen feeders, the materials will be fed, and through the conveyor belt it is taken to a mixer chamber.
materials are fed continuously by feeders, which are moved to the mixing chamber continuously via belt conveyor. Continuous mixers produce concrete continuously without any stoppage till the machine and supply of materials are done. This type of mixers is used for the construction of dams. In normal concrete works, the batch mixers are generally used. The batch mixers are of pan type or drum type tilting.
So in batch mixers there are so many types. Okay, so batch mixers, as I already told, it is used to produce a concrete batch by batch with certain time interval. So there are three types of batch mixers. One is pan type, tilting drum type, and non-tilting drum type. So pan mixers you can see in the RMC plant or in any precast industries, whereas tilting and non-tilting type most of you have seen in the site.
Pan type or stirring concrete mixer. Pan type or stirring mixers are non-mobile mixers which are used either as a central mixing plant or at a precast concrete factory. Primarily these type of mixers are used for making mortar, but sometimes are also used for preparing stiff and cohesive concrete mixes. The pan mixers are generally available in two types, open-type pan mixers and closed-type pan mixers. In open-type pan mixers, the shaft with rotating blades is fixed at the center of the drum, which is attached to the belt system at the bottom. As the belt rotates, the shaft starts to rotate, which in turn mix the concrete ingredients. Once the required mixture is obtained, the concrete is drained out by the outlet provided at the bottom.
One minute. So this is a pan mixer where you have a shaft at the center. It is a vertical shaft, and the motor will be there at the bottom of it. And these are the blades which you can see. So pan mixers are it is not portable. It is generally fixed at one place. And as already told, it is used either in the RMC plant or in the central batching plant, that is RMC plant, or in the precast industry. Because pan mixers, why it is used in the industry, because it gives a good homogeneous mixture compared to the other tilting drum type or non-tilting drum type. Pan mixers are quite efficient enough, but it is not commonly used in the site because it is not portable and it is fixed at one place. So as you saw in the video or in the picture, so you have a vertical shaft at the center of it, and the blades are connected to the vertical shaft, and the motor will be there at the bottom of it. Once you switch on the motor, then through by means of a vertical shaft, the blade rotates, so that gives the concrete mixing. The concrete mixing will be done throughout the pan, and it is quite suitable for stiff, even for the lean mix, and even if the concrete which is having low workability also. So pan mixers are quite efficient compared to the other types of mixers. So next we'll go into the drum mixers. Most of you have seen this drum mixers. So here in drum type mixers, the shape of the drum, the size of the blade, and the angle with which the drum is held, that gives the efficiency of the mixer. So you might have seen in the practical, you might have seen this. So in the drum you have only one in a tilting drum type, I'm telling you. So there is only one opening, okay, where the material will be fed, all the materials will be fed inside the drum, and after mixing, the discharge also will be from the same opening, okay. So the one disadvantages is, in a drum, if the blade is worn out or if the blade is having a damage in it, as already told, so then a good workable concrete cannot be obtained. So there is more chances of getting a segregation in it. So once after the material has been discharged, we have to remix it once again before we use it for any other purpose. So in that, first one is tilting drum type mixers. So in tilting drum type mixers, it is used only for a small batches. Most of you have seen this. It is commonly used everywhere outside for small works, even for some time for large works also it is used. So it consists of only one opening. Most of you have seen. The drum has been charged directly, that is the material has been fed directly, and the discharging of the concrete also will be from the same opening, okay. So it has a lever in it, okay. You can see a small wheel in this picture, left hand picture. So that is a lever. So that lever is used to lower the drum so that the concrete will be discharged. Either you can discharge the concrete by lowering the drum or by reversing the drum in the other direction. If the concrete has been mixed in the clockwise direction, then you can discharge the concrete by reversing the uh, drum in the opposite direction. So here, as already told, they have a lever or a handle which with freshly mixed concrete will be discharged. It is having a low maintenance cost compared to the other types of mixers. It has a low maintenance cost. It can be able to mix the large size aggregate. Even for a low workable concrete, it can able to mix, that is with the help of a tilting drum type mixers. So you can see the picture, both the pictures, filling up the mixers, mixing, and once mixing is done, you can discharge the mixer by lowering the drum or by reversing the drum, that is reversing the drum in the opposite direction of the mixing. So next is a non-tilting drum type mixers. So here in the non-tilting drum type mixers, here it can only able to mix in only one direction, that is in the horizontal direction, whereas in the other mixers it can able to mix in the even in the inclined direction also. But in a non-tilting drum type mixers you can mix only in one direction, that is in the horizontal direction. And here there are two openings. In one opening the material has been fed, in the other opening the material will be discharged, and the discharge has been done by means of a chute. I will uh, show the picture of it. Okay, so here you can see discharge will material has been fed in one opening, whereas the in the other opening the material will be discharged. While discharging the material, you can see the height of the drum from the ground, so it has a sufficient height. So when you when you discharge the concrete from that height, there is more chances of getting a concrete segregated. So that's why we have to use a um, uh, equipment called chute. You can see in the picture, most of you have seen in the road construction, nearby your home only there may be road construction. In the road construction you have seen this equipment called as chute. So with the help of this chute, which is there in the right side of the picture, so with the help of this chute, the all the concrete which is mixed in a mixer can be discharged homogeneously to the ground. If you see the um, uh, height of the concrete which is going to fall, it is very less. So with the help of the chute we can able to discharge the concrete homogeneously to the ground. Otherwise if you discharge as it is, then there are more chances of getting a segregation. So one more video
Non-tilting
related to
drum and
non-tilting
reversing
drum.
drum concrete mixer. Non-tilting mixers and followed by NT. The standard size of these mixers available in
So in all these the numbers which you have seen, 200, 283, 40, 400, 800, 800, it is the capacity of the mixers in liters, and NT is the notation of the non-tilting drum. So that numbers indicates the capacity of the mixers in liters.
non-tilting drum and reversing drum concrete mixer. Non-tilting mixers and reversing drum mixers are a similar type of machine mixers which has only few difference. The non-tilting mixers are designated by a number which represents its nominal mixed batch capacity in liters, followed T 300, and the reversing drum mixers are designated by a number which represents its nominal. Both consist of a non-tilting cylindrical drum with the blades fixed inside the drum and two circular openings at both ends. The ingredients are fed from one opening and the concrete mix is obtained from the other opening. In the non-tilting type, the output end is fixed with the inclined chute. Whereas, in reversing drum type, the cylindrical drum.
So I hope you got the difference between drum type and a non-tilting drum type. So in drum type you can able to rotate the drum in any direction you want, in an inclined direction, whereas in a non-tilting drum type you can able to rotate only in the horizontal direction, whereas in the tilting drum type you have only one opening, whereas in the non-tilting type there are two openings, where from one end the material has been fed, and from the other end the discharge of the concrete will be taken out by means of a chute. So here, as per IS 1975, the concrete mixers are designated by a number representing its nominal mixed batch capacity in liters, as I already told. Tilting type, there are four types of mixers available in the tilting type: 85T, 100T, 140T, and 200T. 85 indicates the capacity of the mixers in liters, and T indicates the notation of the tilting type. In non-tilting type, 200, 280, 375, 500, 1000, this indicates the capacity of the mixers in liter, and NT indicates the abbreviation of the non-tilting type. So till now, most of you have seen how the mixing of the concrete is done, but the actual mixing has to be followed in this way. Okay, I will just brief out. So before the material has been fed into the mixer, first 25% of the water, that is the 25% of the total quantity. 1 minute, I'll come. Sorry for the disturbance. So here first in 100%, first 25% of the total quantity of water has to be fed in the inside the mixer, because to prevent the drum from the dryness. So the drum should be wet before the ingredients is fed into the mixer. First 25% of the water has to be fed inside the mixer, so that the drum has to be prevent from the wetness. It should be wet enough, it should not be dry enough. And also why the water is added, because the cement should not stick to the blades or at the bottom of the drum. So that's why we should add first the 25% of the total quantity of the water. Then we should add half the quantity of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate inside the drum. And then we should add full quantity of cement. And then we should add remaining portion of the fine and coarse aggregate. Why we should do like this? Because the cement should not spill away, and also the cement, whatever the powder form is there, due to the windy weather, that powder may lose if you pour the cement at the last. So that's why first 25% of the total quantity of water we should add, then half the quantity of fine and coarse aggregate, then full quantity of cement, and then remaining portion of the uh, fine and coarse aggregate. Then whatever the water which is left, 75% of it, then that 75% of the water should be added to the drum, and then it has to be mixed thoroughly. If there is an option for water to be included separately, if you have an opening for a water, then along with the other half of the materials of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate, we should add the water also. Okay, this is how the mixing has to be done if there is no admixtures to be used. Okay, so in order to get a good workable concrete, or in order to get a good homogeneous concrete, this is a method that we follow by using a any type of drum mixers, either it is a tilting drum type or non-tilting drum type. If we follow this procedure, then we'll get a good homogeneous concrete. Then if we adding super plasticizer to the concrete, so you know what is the use of adding super plasticizer. So super plasticizer generally used to get a good workable concrete, or to get a good homogeneous concrete. So here the dosage of a super plasticizer has to be fixed in the laboratory itself by doing a number of trials. We have to fix the dosage of the super plasticizer, either 2%, 3%, or 5% to the weight of the cement. We have to fix based on the slump that we obtained in the laboratory. So as I already told, if you are doing for say RCC beams, the slump you should get around 50 to 100. If you don't get the slump around 50 to 100, we have to do number of trials by trial and error of the percentage of super plasticizer. We have to do some trial and error till we get a slump of 50 to 100 we have to keep on doing a trial in the laboratory. Once we get a required slump and we get a required dosage, then we can able to use that admixtures in the outside field also. Okay, so first if we are using a super plasticizer in the concrete, first we should add a half the liter of the quantity of the water. So there if we are not using admixtures, then we have to add 25% of the water there. So if we are using admixtures, then we have to add 50% of the weight of the water to the drum initially, and then full quantity of cement and sand also is added. And then whatever the remaining 50% of water is there, we have to add super plasticizer to it, so that the super plasticizer is diluted with the water, and remaining 50% of water plus super plasticizer is added to the drum, and it has to be mixed for 1 or 2 minutes, so that the cement mortar is completely mixed with the super plasticizer. Then we should add full quantity of coarse aggregate. Okay, so this is how we will be doing in the site in order to get a good consistent concrete, or in order to get a good workable concrete. This is the procedure that we follow. So for a mixer concrete mixing with the super plasticizer, first we should add 50% of the water, and then full quantity of cement and sand, and for remaining 50% of water we should add with the admixtures also, so that it is admixtures is diluted with the water, and then 50% plus admixtures which is diluted, it is added to the drum, and it is mixed for 2 minutes, so that the cement and sand will be thoroughly mixed with the water and the admixtures. Once it is done, then full quantity of coarse aggregate will be added to the drum, so that if we follow this procedure, we'll get a good consistency and good workable concrete. So this is the procedure for the concrete mixing without admixture, and this is with admixtures. So if we follow this, we'll get a good results in the site.